global connectivity. In the current global situation and added challenges at sea, celebration like this provides a vital opportunity for the maritime community to reflect upon this legacy, reaffirming our collective commitment towards strengthening the maritime sector in line with the national priorities. Needless to add, women are now actively involved in the maritime sector and are occupying responsible senior positions both at sea and at shore. The theme chosen this year of the day, Policy to Practice Advancing Gender Equality, is very apt and timely to further strengthen women's role in the maritime sector. As India progresses toward becoming a leading maritime nation, sustained efforts are being made to enhance shipbuilding capabilities, promote sustainable ship recycling, address environmental challenges, and strengthen maritime training and skill development. It is to be noted that all these segments have very engrossing and gripping opportunities for women to participate. This afternoon's program brings together eminent professionals who will share their experiences, observations, and perspective on key issues and policy directions shaping the maritime domain, especially in making a woman's professional journey in maritime more comfortable and noteworthy. The presentations and panel discussions today will provide valuable insights into ongoing initiatives, opportunities for further strengthening women's role in the maritime sector. We are also privileged to witness the continued efforts of the Director General of Shipping through the Sagar Mein Samman initiatives, which are to create a safer, more inclusive and dignified environment within the maritime ecosystem. I take this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation to the Shipping Corporation of India, Director General of Shipping, and Women's Wing of National Maritime Celebration Committee for hosting this event and for the continued support and cooperation in organizing these celebrations. Once again, I extend a warm welcome to our chief guests, dignitaries, speakers, panelists, and participants. I am confident that today's deliberations will contribute meaningfully to strengthen women's role and the continued progress of India in the maritime sector. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. On this special occasion, we are honored to also receive a video message from Shri Sabananda Sonwal, Honorable Union Minister of Port Shipping and Waterways. Under his leadership and guidance, the maritime sector continues to move towards a greater inclusivity, encouraging enhanced participation and empowerment of women across the various maritime sectoral domains. I will now request Shri Sanjeev Mehra to kindly join us on stage to read the video message of Honorable Union Minister for all of us. I'll also request the participants to kindly turn their attention towards the screen.
Message from our Union Cabinet Minister. Namaskar. It gives me immense pleasure to address you on the occasion of the International Day for Women in Maritime 2026. I extend my greetings to the global maritime community and especially to the women professionals whose contribution, commitment and leadership are shaping the future of the maritime sector. This year's theme, From Policy to Progress, Advancing Gender Equality, reflects a shared global resolve to move beyond intent and ensure meaningful participation of women across all dimensions of maritime development. The maritime sector is a critical pillar of the global trade, economic growth, and the national development. Today, women are increasingly contributing as seafarers, marine engineers, port professionals, researchers, entrepreneurs, administrators, and policy makers. Their achievements are strengthening the sector with great innovation, professionalism, and inclusivity. Under the visionary leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, India's maritime sector is undergoing transformational growth through initiatives such as port modernization, green shipping, inland waterways development, enhanced coastal connectivity, and the advancement of the blue economy. The government has launched Sagar Mein Samman, a landmark gender dignity and inclusion initiative of the Directorate General of Shipping. Far more than a policy framework, it is a living commitment to building a gender equitable maritime workforce. Sagar Mein Samman addresses the full spectrum of women's journey in maritime, from recruitment and skill development to safety, mentorship, leadership, and career progression. It brings together government, training institutions, and industry under one shared resolve that dignity and equality are not aspirations but entitlements for every woman who chooses the sea. Aligned with the Maritime India Vision 2030, we are working towards increasing women's representation in technical maritime roles to 12% by 2030. Our efforts are already yielding visible results. India has witnessed a remarkable rise in women seafarers from just 341 in 2014 to over 2,500 in the recent years, a testament to the power of sustained policy commitment and institutional resolve. On this important occasion, let us collectively reaffirm our commitment towards building a maritime sector that is inclusive, equitable, sustainable, and future-ready. I congratulate the organizers for the meaningful initiative and extend my best wishes to all participants. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Moving ahead, we are privileged to receive a video message from Mr. Arisino Dominguez, Secretary General of the International Maritime Organization. The International Maritime Organization continues to play a significant role in promoting diversity, inclusion, and greater participation of women in the global maritime sector, inspiring a positive transformation across the industry. May I now request everyone to kindly turn their attention towards the screen for the video message.
By ensuring women are central to our workforce, we ensure a maritime future that is inclusive, resilient, and sustainable.
Thank you. Moving forward, we are delighted to receive a special message from one of our guests, Ashwini Bhinde, Honorable Municipal Commissioner, Bari Mumbai Municipal Corporation, PMC, an accomplished administrator and an inspiration to countless women professionals. Madam's leadership and achievement continue to encourage a greater participation of women across the diverse sectors and profession. I will now request Ms. Bharti Bhandarkar to kindly join us on the stage to read the message from the guest.
सर आगे खाली है.
A message from Ms. Ashwini Bide, Municipal Commissioner, BMC. Namaskar. It's an honor to join you on the occasion of the International Day for Women in Maritime 2026. The day celebrates the leadership, resilience, and the growing contribution of women in shaping the future of the maritime sector. The maritime industry remains a vital driver of global connectivity, trade, and economic growth. Today, women across the world are making significant contributions as leaders, researchers, administrators, engineers, and policymakers, bringing innovation, capability, and the new perspective in a dynamic sector. This year's theme, From Policy to Progress, Advancing Gender Equality, highlights the importance of translating commitment into meaningful opportunity, inclusive institutions, and enabling work environment. India's maritime sector is witnessing rapid transformation through port modernization, global development, green shipping initiatives, and expansion of blue economy. In this journey, the participation of women is not only important but essential for building a sustainable, inclusive, and future-ready maritime ecosystem. I commend all women maritime professionals whose dedication and perseverance continue to inspire future generations and bring new grounds across the maritime domain. Let us collectively reaffirm our commitment towards creating the maritime sector that reflects the values of equality, opportunity, and excellence. I congratulate the organizer and extend my best wishes to all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my proud privilege to invite our chief guest for today's program, Shri Sushil Mansingh Khopde, Additional Director General of Shipping, to address the gathering. With his vast administrative experience and dedicated service, Sir has consistently encouraged progressive initiatives for the growth, safety, inclusivity in the maritime sector. May I now request Shri Sushil Mansingh Khopde, sir, to kindly deliver the address.
Thank you, Rehana. Shri Sudhir Khopde ji, Member Secretary of the organizers of this program, my colleagues from DGS, stakeholders from the industry, from the maritime sector, and most importantly, I could see almost 70% of the hall is full of women related to maritime sector. And that's really should happen. The participation of women in this program shows that how much they are willing to go forward in this sector particularly. In fact, last year I just joined that time, and within 1 month there was a program on 18th May, that is International Day for Women in Maritime Sector, which I could attend for the first time in this sector, and wherein also there was a lot of participation from women. And even this year we have changed the venue, but the participation is equally of that standard. So this is very heartening to begin with. I'd like to tell you a few of the initiatives which DGS is taking to forward this agenda of women participation in this sector. Because the basic motive behind it is, as we know, unless we include our 50% of workforce in any sector, we won't be able to grow. That's the basic bottom line of this particular initiatives we are taking, to bring in women to this sector so that we can grow this sector. as you know, in Europe, the women participation increased mainly in Second World War, wherein because of the war, the workforce got limited. Most of them, they were in the forward line. Men were fighting the war, and there was workforce was quite limited. That time, women got entry into the workforce in Europe. And after that, due to their talent and hard work, they could go forward, and now you see the European society, in fact, most of the sectors, they are led by women there. And we are trying to follow it up, especially in maritime sector, with the initiative of DGS, that is Sagar Mein Samman, which is not only policy. Last time, I do remember that 18th of May, Honorable Minister, he has launched the draft policy for this. Today, what we are talking of is from policy to the practical things, how we are going to take it forward. The policy is a document, but how to implement it, what are the various aspects we are looking into it. Because when we talk of women, the first thing is safety. Especially if you see today, or basically say 20, 30 years back, in Mumbai, you could find most of the women were working. I am born and brought up in Mumbai. I could see right from my birth, many of the women, they were working compared to other cities. Why? Basic thing is safety, which was available in Mumbai. If you go to Delhi, or for that matter any other city, most of the other cities, you won't find that safety is available for women. But in Mumbai, you can feel even at 12 o'clock in the night, a woman can walk on a road. She can go by any train, or even public transport is available. So that's the basic difference. Because I have stayed in Delhi also, I have stayed in Bihar, and I'm born in, of course, Mumbai, so I have stayed here. So basic difference I could find why women are out here compared to other city is the safety. Because they can go out anytime and work for themselves. So in this sector also, the agenda or what initiatives we are taking, the first point is safety. Safety on board or safety off board. Because this is not only for seafarers, this policy is not only for seafarers, this is all the women which are connected to this maritime sector. So safety should be for all, may it be working offshore or maybe on board. So this is the basic point we are taking into account, and we are formulating the policies, the basic 5-year work. The framework is already being made. It will be launching. It was to launch by the hand of Honorable Minister, but somehow he couldn't come to Kolkata. So it will be launched there, as well as we'll launch it here. That framework is ready. How we'll go ahead with this policy to implement at the ground level. So apart from safety, the other part is equality. Whenever you work, you should feel you are equal with the whatever other man or whoever there is. Because in Bihar we have seen, especially in police, there was a quota came for women after a lot of delegation. The government there, they give, because they have seen, because mainly police is used for law and order, and in law and order, women can ensure that with greater efficiency. Because if there are women on road, men cannot do anything as such. If they do something, it will be at the scrutiny of society or maybe the courts. So wherein I could find after initially there was some reluctance of the main counterpart or even senior officers. In fact, I have been into one communal situation wherein all the main force we deployed first. But the situation could not be controlled, so I went there along with some women company with me. And the way they handled the situation, thereafter I gave report to government also, it is in fact, in some ways it was better than even men. That's mainly because of the mentality or the psyche of the the people who are on the ground, who are trying to vandalize and all, when they see women charging at them, they got awestruck initially and they went back. So that was probably the reason. But it is really happened in front of my eyes. I have seen this. So there is no difference as such, and most of us know it. But over the years, it is happening in the society. So our, outlook, we are trained for that. It's not really so easy. That's why we are thinking of a module for even a pre-C courses. It's not for women as such, it's for whole of the class, including male. In fact, male cadets are more important, that they are our target, so that they should understand they are equal to us. That's why the mentality of men, that should be also given that lookout that it is on the equal footing. Because there is, in general, the mentality is like that, we are trained for that, and we feel generally women, they won't be able to do this work. But now they are going into army and military and everywhere. Like we have seen the message of Miss Ashwini Bhide, in fact she is my batchmate. We were studying together, and she was the topper in women of that year in UPSC, all over India. She was the first in women. And she got this cadre, she is in Maharashtra and now she is a BMC commissioner. So they have got to the highest level, and they can, provided they get the opportunity. So the another part of, it's not exactly as a policy, but it's the initiative of DGS that we are trying to attract women into maritime sector by giving them scholarships or subsidized education, you can say. We are providing 1 lakh per women candidate who is studying in maritime. She gets 1 lakh per year. In fact, last year it was around 700 to 800 women candidates. They got benefit of this scholarship. This year already, probably some time back, I had inquired, it was around more than 1100 applications were received. So day by day it is increasing. In fact, today's number overall women seafarers, as per our record, it's around 7,000. So it goes. But still, there is a lot of scope to improve, not only in quantity, but in quality as well, or the higher posts as well. Because in this 7,000, around 1,000 are officers, and remaining 6,000 are into ratings. So it's good number which is coming. Probably few of them, they are into hospitality on cruise. But still it is a very good number. If you compare worldwide also, our position say 10 years back, it was very, very low. It is increasing, and day by day it's increasing. In fact, I have seen in my native place, it's very remote place in Sindhudurg district, where also the women from the villages, they have joined this. One of my relatives, she's a distant relative of mine, she stays in village and she is now into one of the schools. She is studying into this maritime college. So they are also coming. So the thing is, the society is changing, it is advancing, and DGS is trying to advance it faster with the policies which we are trying to adopt. The policy last year, which was made by a group of women only, which are connected to maritime sector, few of them must be here. And this year also, for the action framework, we are taking help of women which are working without any remuneration. Voluntarily they are coming ahead and they are working for women, for other women, so that they can come ahead and join this sector. Apart from this, the other initiative, which is Sagar Mein Yog, since I bought this forum, I'd just like to tell you about this. This is about mental well-being of a seafarer, including of course women and men both. This, in fact, you know the geopolitical situation today. We have debriefing at the DGS office who come back from that area. In fact, we had 3-4 debriefings of various ships. The seafarers were repatriated to India from war zone. Maybe their ship was attacked or such kind of things happened and they came back. So we had a debriefing. So the kind of trauma they have been through, we felt this type of initiative is very much required, that mental strongness is required more for a seafarer than a common man, because he is isolated there on a ship. There is nobody to support directly from his family or his community over there. So he requires it more. So that's why this Sagar Mein Yog, the module is ready, and in fact it will be mandatory for pre-C courses from this year and maybe in future for post-C courses also as LMS. The other initiatives which we are taking, and in fact there is an e-Navik digitization platform we are making, wherein we have 4 modules, wherein we have MTI module, that is Maritime Training Institute. Thereafter we have RPSLs, because the journey of a seafarer starts from MTI, then it goes to RPSL, and wherein it requires the crisis management as well as the grievance redressal. So these 2 modules are also part of it. There are 4 modules in that. And the grievance redressal module, it is already open, it is launched, because anybody from anywhere in sea or out of sea, he can directly contact. We have phone number, we have an email, we have WhatsApp number, we have international toll-free number as well, wherein he can, free of cost, he can directly connect and register his grievance. It will be given unique ID, and with that ID, anybody can monitor, including him as well as the senior officer. If the grievance is not resolved, that will be escalated to senior officers. There is an escalation matrix for that, and it can be monitored afterwards also how the grievance are being resolved or not resolved, and the correction can be made accordingly. So that module will be out. In fact, probably this is the first time this type of effort, the digitized effort, probably we may be the first country in this. We are not very sure, but most probably, as far as our knowledge goes, we are doing it for the first time here, and let us see how it shapes out. So these are the few of the initiatives. In fact, there are many more, but I don't think I'll take more time of yours. Lastly, this is for the cadets, especially the women cadets, they are here. I'd just like to share a small story. It's like when you go to Mangalore, you will find there are elephants, those are bred there. So if you go there, you will find that the even bigger elephant, they are tied up with a rope, normal thick rope. So somebody asked them, this rope, easily this elephant can break and run away to forest. The answer was, because right from the beginning, when that elephant was a small child, since that time he was being tied with the same rope. So that's why that time he could not break it, because it didn't have that much of power. But that's why this is so much imbibed into him that I cannot break this rope. So even when he becomes big, he really even doesn't try to break it. So the breaking of shackle is in your brain. You can break anything. Never think that I am women or I am coming from a small place or remote village, I cannot go this high. It's always in the brain. So that's the last thing I just wanted to tell you. Thank you very much for giving me time. Thank you.
much needed and insightful address. Now I will request all the dignitaries present on the dais to kindly proceed towards seat on this first row and so far. We are now moving towards an important and insightful segment of today's program, that is panel discussion on today's theme, from policy to practice, advancing gender equality. The session aims to deliberate upon the transition from progressive policies to meaningful action, while highlighting the importance of inclusivity, equal opportunity, safety, and empowerment of a woman in maritime sector. To moderate this discussion, we have a privilege to have with us Ms. Ambika Singh. Now I'll request Ms. Ambika Singh to kindly come on the dais and proceed with the introduce today's panelists and proceed with the session, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. The chief guest, distinguished guest, dear cadets, and each and everyone present today. Wishing everyone a very happy International Day for Women in Maritime. Let's first have a huge round of applause for all the women in Maritime. The applause has to be a little bit more louder. Yes, I think the further we can go. Thank you so much. So with the address of Honorable Minister, our Chief Guest, IMO Secretary General, the stage is all set for today's panel discussion on the theme from policy to practice, advancing gender equality in maritime. The maritime industry is undergoing significant transformation driven by innovation, sustainability, digitalization, and inclusive growth. As we heard from our Honorable Minister, and other dignitaries, that the key focus of all the government initiative is the strengthening of India's seafaring workforce and increasing participation of women in maritime and shipping. As more women enter maritime profession, it becomes essential to bridge the gap between policy and practical implementation. Today's discussion aims to provide practical insights, share industry experiences, and inspire cadets and future maritime professionals to contribute towards a progressive and inclusive maritime environment. We are honored to have with us an esteemed panel representing different sectors of the maritime industry. Their experience and perspectives will provide valuable learning for all of us. I would now like to introduce our distinguished panelists. I invite Ms. Pooja Kumari, a distinguished Marine Chief Engineer, graduated in Marine Engineering from DMET, Kolkata in 2015 and began her journey with Shipping Corporation of India as a junior engineer. In 2023, she earned her MEO Class 1 Certificate of Competency, achieving rank of Chief Engineer. She has been recognized with various achievements as also Best Women Sailor Award by Shipping Corporation, Phenomenal She Awardee, and recently she was also at Republic Bharat for sharing her experience for the ships crossing the Strait of Hormuz. Welcome, Pooja. May I invite Sanjam Sahi Gupta. Sanjam is member National Shipping Board and founder of Vista India, a maritime professional, diversity advocate working to drive inclusion, leadership, and sustainability across the shipping industry. She is actively involved in global maritime policy, gender mainstreaming, and capacity building projects with international organizations and industry stakeholders. Welcome, Sanjam. Our next panelist is Ms. Kamna Ashok Meshram. Kamna is a maritime professional with sailing experience as a second officer on passenger and bulk carrier vessels. She holds BSc Nautical Science and LLB and LLM in Maritime Law. She also possesses shore-based experience with CMA CGM as a senior officer handling claims. Currently, she is preparing for her Chief Mate certification. Welcome, Kamna. Our next panelist is Saleha Sheikh. Welcome, Saleha. Saleha has been ranked twice in the top 100 women in shipping. Saleha is an entrepreneur and women empowerment coach. She is the co-founder of Dynamic Marine Solutions, a marine services company, founder of MUI Women's Wing. Saleha is also the founder president of Women in Maritime Association, better known as WIMA India, which is India chapter of IMO's Women in Maritime program under WIMA Asia. She also serves on the board of Kandla Seafarers Welfare Association. Welcome, Saleha. And the last one to join us is Meghna Menon. Meghna is a fourth engineer currently serving on container vessels, bringing a blend of technical precision and disciplined leadership to the maritime industry. A mechanical engineer by training, her journey into the engine room was fueled by her lifelong curiosity for machinery, a passion instilled by her engineer parents. She aspires to build a career focusing on sustainable shipping and integration of eco-friendly technologies. Welcome, Meghna.
Sure.
Yes. Can we keep the mics to maybe just hold the mics in hand? So welcome once again. To start with today's panel, first the most important question. What does gender equality in maritime mean to you? Sanjay.
Sure. Hello.
Gender equality in maritime means a maritime industry where both genders are welcomed, allowed to grow and thrive.
Thank you. Yes, Meghna.
In my opinion, since there is a dearth of workforce in the shipping industry, gender equality boils down to the fact that we have 50% of that workforce. So it should just revolve around technical aptitude and competency, irrespective of gender or nationality or any other things that make us apart.
Yes, definitely. Lovely. Yes, Pooja.
For me, thank you, ma'am. For me, equality is not making the sea easier for the women, but not easier for the women, but making the women ready for the sea. The hardness, the strongness must be present on the women.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, good evening all. Gender equality, according to me, is inclusion and giving equal opportunities irrespective of any gender. Thank you.
Gender equality, according to me, is equal respect, equal opportunities, equal safety, and basically capacity should be decided on the basis of skills and not on the basis of gender. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much. So that sets the tone. What does gender equality mean by the women in the logistics, by the women in the maritime? Coming to you, Pooja. How are shipping companies addressing the infrastructures like PPE sizing or separate cabins and medical facilities for women on board?
Thank you, ma'am, for this question. According to me, for when I had joined my first vessel, in that time there is a problem of PPE. I'm very thin that time, and nowadays when I join, I can see various sizes available on board. So this problem is solved.
Okay.
I'm in SCI, so there's no problem of PPE there, and I'm requesting all other companies also to please implement this policy in their SMS. And also for medical facilities in our company, we having that female specific problem of separate cabins, attachable bathrooms and that lockable latch problems. But nowadays, every vessel having this separate cabin, attachable washrooms, and that lockable pins and all. So these problems nowadays companies are focusing and almost.
Yeah, great to know that positive changes have started happening. Yes. And how does the company handle maternity leave and rejoining for women officers? Is there a policy as per the project rank and seniority?
Very relatable question, ma'am. As I'm newly married, and for me, my company, SCI, having policy of giving job, means so transition from C. So I can join during my maternity period any sure job in my office, and I can have leave also. And I'm here to request other companies also to please see this matter and provide a policy in their law, in their SMS, so that more girls can free the freedom and join this field, because of these are the very big problem for women for leaving and quitting this job.
Yeah, that's the place where we lose out the women from the career. It's across all the industry, and maybe maritime is the worst affected. So that's why internationally, globally, if there are 50% women in career, in India it's hardly 23 or 24%. And quickly, besides the technical knowledge, what do you think they should prepare mentally before they get on the ship?
Okay, ma'am. For me, if I have to give message, first one is to be ready for loneliness, that isolation management. On board, there's lots of problems you have to deal with, and you have to command also. For that, you have to be set one routine and be in that routine, so that you cannot feel isolated. Talk with your parents. Wi-Fi nowadays every vessel have, and also have some hobbies on board, so that you can make yourself busy. And the second one is the competence. Very important point. First, learn what your rank is and your competence, so that if you know your job, nobody can pinpoint you, and you can have the confidence and also have the respect on board. So it will be very easier for you to pass your journey on board. And also we are only 2% nowadays, and in the future we are going to be 20%. So be safe, sail proudly, and make the door open for all other lady sailors.
Thank you so much, Pooja. Very practical inputs, and we just have to be very sure of ourselves, always. Thank you. Moving on to Sanjam. Sanjam, as the founder of Vista India, what do you believe is the biggest gap between policy and practice when it comes to gender equality in maritime?
Thanks, Ambika. So the way I see it is that we don't really have a policy problem in maritime anymore. What we do have is an accountability problem, because the frameworks, circulars and intent exist on paper, but the lived reality looks very different. So women continue to face unconscious bias, lack of on-board infrastructure, limited mentorship, and almost no maternity continuity framework for seafarers. And today it's very fashionable to talk about diversity, you know. People keep having conferences, we keep having panel discussions such as this, but it cannot remain a talking point. It has to become a business and a leadership priority, because policy without measurement is just aspiration. And honestly, if women have to be welcomed into the industry, they have to be supported and to stay and to grow. In the next 10 years, maritime can look very different from the last 10 years, but only if we move forward from these conversations to action.
Okay, great. You already said that policy is in place, but still, can you suggest or you feel that there is one policy which should be brought in the ecosystem? Then what would that be?
So I think there would be one policy, but 3 non-negotiables. So for starting with a national maritime gender action plan with measurable targets and accountability. So first, a maritime diversity reporting across all organizations. So second, proper onboard infrastructure, safety working environments for women. Third, a maternity and career continuity framework, so motherhood does not become a silent end of a C career. Then data, infrastructure, continuity, because what gets measured gets improved. And because right now what we're missing out is 50% of the talent, ideas, and a lot of profit too. What we're missing out is the knowledge that investing in women could be one of the best decisions that leaders could take in our industry. It could lead to a lot of profits. And ultimately, which everyone keeps saying, and we don't do anything about it, if not now, then when? If not us, then who?
Lovely. Lastly, one more thing. As Vista is playing an important role, how can it help the women who want to get back or want to be on shore after the sailing career?
So I think Vista, it's not just to make a space for women in the industry. What we do is we create networks, visibility, mentorship, so that women are not just entering maritime, but we're staying and growing within the maritime industry. So for example, at sea, that means we're advocating for safer and more sustainable career pathways. And at shore, it means that we're ensuring women are present in the rooms where decisions are made and not just on diversity brochures. We need to remember also that gender diversity is not a women's issue. So we need male allies, and real progress does happen when industry leaders such as yourselves are part of the solution. So to the women who are the first, I want to say that break barriers, but make sure you're the first but not the last. And inclusion should not be an exception. We should celebrate this once a year, but it should become a default culture of maritime. So let's celebrate today, but make sure that each day is such that we do not have to say that one day is for women in maritime. It should be a default culture.
Lovely. Thank you, Sanjay. Moving to Kamna.
Yeah, good evening.
Kamna is the second officer at SCI, and what changes have you observed regarding gender diversity at SCI, at sea?
So at sea, the changes has been gradual but remarkable. What I mean to say is there has been a lot of involvement of women in level of deck officers, engine officers, pilots, and there has been a lot of surveyors also. Additionally, there is also enrollment of women in maritime academics. I have seen that's a noticeable change. Also, adding to it, there is women entering into the role of deck crew or ratings. And also, with respect to companies, many companies are involving gender sensitization courses, which is really remarkable.
Good. Yeah. And what about some practical challenges that women face when they are on board ship today?
Practical challenges starts when the woman first steps on board. Let me tell you, she is judged whether she'll be able to handle her given roles. She is judged with respect to her physical capabilities. Her competency is judged. So every moment I'm spending on board, I'm judged. Yeah, and
does it matter?
It doesn't matter, but then you are under scrutiny all the time, and it is a kind of invisible pressure you always feel on board. So this is what is the practical thing. And what I would like to add is another is a woman-friendly vessels. What I mean to say is that infrastructures should be such that since the companies are involving ratings and all on board, then there should be proper accommodation for them. So this is where we are lagging, I think.
Okay. So how can we make it right? How can the deck team on board create a more respectful and supportive working environment?
So it has to be on both sides. There should be mutual respect should be there. Then see, we call ship as she, right? We use a pronouns as she, And we always strive, the officers on board always strive for the safety of the vessel. Then why not consider the safety for the she on board?
Wow. There's a thumb up. So we have with us Saleha, the entrepreneur, founder of WIMA. So Saleha, with your extensive experience in this maritime leadership and women empowerment, what positive changes have been brought about for women in maritime in the last decade? And what, according to you, needs to be done to ensure a sustainable career path?
Thank you, Ambika. So the last decade has been transformational when it comes to women in maritime. I remember the number of women seafarers was around 700 to 800 around 2018, sailing seafarers. And today the number has gone to 2,500, which is a huge jump. And although it's not nowhere close to what we are trying to increase to, but it's quite heartening because it wouldn't have happened without the effort of our government, most importantly our ministry, the way we have been going around taking efforts to invite more and more women in maritime, and also to the IMO, which has taken a huge step forward by forming the Women in Maritime program globally, which encompasses 8 continents, and then under each continent there are country-wise representations. Through that initiative, a framework has been established where we have common agendas on how to implement policies, how to ensure that more and more women are joining the maritime workforce, and not just joining, but how we ensure their sustainability. So these measures are extremely important. And one very big change that I have seen myself is the mindset. Because initially I remember having conversations with company heads as to why they're not having women seafarers in their shipping companies. And I'm talking about a time when there were very few companies employing women as seafarers. And at that point of time, the answers that I would get were either that we don't have a philosophy of employing women, or else they would say that, we want to employ, but our ships are not ready yet. With shared cabins and other issues, that ships are just not ready for women. And so the very few names that we used to hear about Indian women in maritime in particular were the first ones, the first engineer, the first master, the first ETO. But it's really heartening to see the numbers that have come in today, and I think we're getting there.
Yeah, so that's a very positive sign that the numbers are increasing. But with a growing number of women, even there are growing number of SASH cases, and with your work experience, can you highlight on this point? And what needs to be done to make the ships safe for the women at sea?
So it's really heartening to see the efforts that are being taken to invite more and more women to the maritime force. But when it comes to sustainability, it has been observed that, as more and more women join the workforce, there will increase number of SASH cases, when in SASH is sexual assault and sexual harassment cases. And unfortunately, a lot of these cases go unreported, because sometimes the victim does not want to report it for the fear of a backlash, or the fear of losing their job, or the fear of reputation. So that is a very unfortunate scenario. Then again, when the cases do get reported, they don't get the right form of justice, because we don't have proper policies in place, we don't have proper mechanisms to address this issue, and therefore cases get stuck in, there is no justice given to them. And it's been my experience that even with some of the big companies, in maritime, they want to obviously protect their reputation, so they don't want to have these cases come out in the open forums. So therefore, these things are hushed up, and that leads to the confidence of the women seafarer eroded, and that sends a very strong message, that even if you complain, nothing happens. So that's an unfortunate scenario. Secondly, what we need to do is ensure that when women join the workforce, their career path has been made easy for them. For example, when it comes to maternity leaves and joining work back after maternity, we need to ensure that we have policies where we are making it smoother for them to transition as mothers, as caregivers. In fact, one of the studies that we had done with the shipping companies and with various industry stakeholders, it was, it was told to us that the women seafarers came up with this suggestion that, we would want our families to sail with us, or at least have a nanny sail with us with our children. And that's a very valid suggestion, because that helps the woman to be to work peacefully, knowing that her family, her children are with her and are safe. So it's important that these kind of sustainable initiatives are taken.
Thank you, Suleha, so much. It was very practical suggestions that we all should look into it. Coming to Meghna. Meghna, in your view, why is the maritime industry still invisible to women or the girls, young girls in India?
Thank you for the question, ma'am. As a fourth engineer who has strived to make her place here, I can tell you exactly why the maritime industry is still invisible to young girls in India. Because you cannot become what you cannot see, right? So the conventional career, training that happens stops at a career in medicine or IT, or if you push it a little further, maybe nursing or teaching for women. We need to actively rebrand to align with the current narrative. For this to happen, I think we need to take the narrative to the grassroots firstly. Like Ms. Sanjam mentioned earlier, we have to take our stories and discussions outside the corporate boardrooms and outside these conferences to schools and universities. When young girls see a smart woman in a uniform or a boiler suit talk passionately about navigating the seas or overhauling machinery or fuel pumps, then suddenly something which was once invisible starts to look tangible. And secondly, I feel that there is this stereotype that exists that the engine room is a dark, rough and tough dungeon. For all you know, people might still assume that people shove coal into the engine to get the ship to run. So I think that when we show girls in schools that as we all know, shipping today is completely automated. To troubleshoot a problem on board, you require real technical aptitude and skills. So this stereotype that exists that it is a rough and tough manly job, I think we all need to make people aware that it is the chain blocks and cranes that do the heavy lifting. The engineers do the heavy thinking on board. So yeah, thank you.
So as you said, yeah, it is invisible, but still, at least there is some effort towards creating the visibility for the maritime industry.
Definitely, ma'am.
Yeah, but also if you see that, the technical, mechanical, electrical engineers from the shoreside industries, even they don't look at the maritime industry. How do we attract them to this sector?
So in my opinion, this is a massive missed opportunity. Because I myself, having been a mechanical engineer and I worked a shore job for 2 years. And I was completely unaware that as a mechanical engineer, I can transition to a career in shipping. And the issue is that we have a lot of talented engineers working in power plants, in the automotive industry and stuff like that. But there isn't really a conversion pathway that exists to smoothly transition from the shore side to the shipping industry. I have peers who found out about the career through me and they were wondering how to pursue this, but unfortunately either they missed the age limit or it took a lot of, it was very tedious basically. So for shipping companies looking to diversify, one thing that could be done is maybe offering shoreside to a sea scholarship or a transition program. Plus, we don't really have a lateral transition framework that is in place. Of course, there are conversion pathways that exist where, after your degree, you can become a marine engineer, but it means that you have to start from the bottom of the ladder. So if we had a system where experienced engineers could use, that experience counts, and this would assist them in a smooth transition to an operational rank. They don't have to start from cadetship. Their experience could take them directly to an operational rank like a third engineer or fourth engineer, provided they have their competencies in place. So I think that would be, if this is taken into consideration, then I'm pretty sure this industry would be a top tier career, choice for technical talent globally. So yeah, that's my
Thank you,
opinion.
Meghna. I think so.
Thank
All
you so
the
much.
industry representatives will take note of it. But how do we increase the share? We come back to Sanjam and a very quick rapid fire round for everyone. So just keep your answers brief, 1 or 2 lines, and keep passing on the mic. Sanjam, what is the one small step that would help in increasing the share of women in maritime in India?
In maritime in
India, yeah.
So I think, as she said, the industry is not visible. We need to create awareness.
Okay.
And one step that I have personally done in that is to start launch these small books for children in India.
Okay.
So we have these small stories about actual women in India.
Very good. Meghna.
In alignment with what Ms. Sanjam said, from my side, what I have been doing is getting in touch with my college alumni and all of that, and making my juniors aware that this industry exists, speaking to them, mentoring them in my free time, and asking them to pursue a career in shipping where I can vouch that it is worth it, it's worth the investment. So yeah.
Okay. Pooja, for you the question is like, for women, for deciding her career choices, safety is a very important factor which we always keep in our mind because that's a place where you have to go every day. So what is that one step that will help in increasing the share of women by ensuring the comfort level? So what is that one safety thing that you would like to suggest?
I think family safety is most important. Means if your job is safe, means there's a surety, then I think it will be better. Means
you mean to say safety in a career progression?
Safety wise, family safety, surety. There is like there is a switch time now when especially during maternity time, whenever we switch to 2 years or 3 year gap, having problem to again rebuild the career. So if there is a surety, then okay, after 3-4 years also I can reback and join this field, so it will be better.
Okay, yeah, fair point. Kamna, what is that one positive thing that has happened that you feel happy about it for the women at sea?
I would add that like if I do not want to continue sailing at a certain point of time, then my company is welcoming enough to give me shore absorption. So that's really a very positive outcome. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And Saleha, the last thing. Again with the safety thing, what is that one thing you want to suggest for the safety at sea?
Suggest. Okay. Yeah. So I think what we need to ensure is that our global fleet should 100% of our global fleet should be women friendly.
Please elaborate women friendly.
Yes. When I say women friendly ships, I mean to say that ships that are designed and built for women to work on them, because with shared cabins and shared washrooms, it becomes extremely uncomfortable for women to work on board. And of course, having PPE and everything custom designed for women seafarers, which most companies have now, fortunately started doing. So that's again one of the steps forward. So safety, I think, is an overall thing. We really can't stick to one thing, but building an ecosystem that is, very women friendly is extremely important.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. We come to the end of this panel discussion, and we have really got some valuable suggestions from policy to practice for advancing gender equality. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much. That was indeed a very enriching and insightful discussion. Can we have a big round of applause for all the panelists, please? I'm sure that the valuable perspectives, experience, and thoughtful deliberation shared by our esteemed panelists have inspired many of us towards advancing the gender equality. On behalf of the organizer, I'll request the panelists to please kindly wait on this dais, please. Yeah. On behalf of the organizers, I extend our sincere gratitude to the moderator and the distinguished panelists for their valuable contribution to this meaningful session. As a token of our appreciation and respect, we shall now felicitate our panelists. May I request our chief guest of the today, Shri Sushil Mansingh Khobre, IPS, Additional Director General of Shipping, along with Shri Sudhir Kohakade, Member Secretary to NMDC, to kindly join us on the stage for the felicitation. I'll now take names of the panelists one by one. May I also request Ms. Sanjam Shahi Gupta to kindly proceed forward for taking a memento, an appreciation of thanks from the organizers. A big round of applause, please. Ms. Saleha Sheikh. Ms. Pooja Kumari. Ms. Meghna Menon. I think the claps could be a little more louder. Ms. Kamala Ashok Meshram. I will also request all the panelists to kindly join us for a moment. I forget for the one group picture, please, with the chief guest. Moderator ma'am, please, you also join us for the photograph. These are our women of today representing policy, practice, advancing gender equity. I think we should have a big round of applause for all of them. Thank you, sir. We now move to the next segment of today's program, a presentation by Maersk Fleet Management and Technology of India on the best practices and initiatives undertaken towards implementation of gender equality in maritime sector. The presentation will provide a valuable insight into the organization's efforts towards fostering inclusivity, equal opportunities, diversity, and supportive workplace culture for women in maritime. May I now request the representatives from the Maersk Fleet Management and Technology of India to kindly proceed to the dais for the presentation. I also request to all the speakers to kindly adhere to the timelines for the smooth flow.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much, and once again congratulating everybody on this International Day for Women in Maritime. I am Bhushan Malkani and I represent Maersk Fleet Management and Procurement today, and like I will try and restrict my conversations to 5 minutes as prescribed, and I'll focus more on how did we achieve this, or how are we advancing gender equality back at Maersk. We all know that Maersk has been the pioneers in gender equality, and that's something that we stand by with complete heart. But today, let's focus on how did we get that. Can I have the next slide? The next one. Okay. When we started, somewhere around 2021, we only had 0.5%, and let that number sink in, 0.5% of our seafarers as women. And that's when we thought, okay, we need to do something about this. What do? We have to increase this, and that's where we started the Equal at Sea journey. Some of the dignitaries who are present here must have attended the Equal at Sea conference, but that's just the glamorous side of it. There is a lot of work that goes behind the scenes to get women to come on board with us. And let me focus on that. Can I have the next slide, please? This is the transformation journey that we have been on, and here are the results. We started with, and I'm talking only about Maersk. We had women, Indian women, only 13% as part of our pool, which has now gone beyond 50%, which means 50% plus women at Maersk are Indian women. Just let's just imagine this, how one region, one country, one team decided to make this shift, and today 50% of the women pool at Maersk are Indians, right? And just not that, entire percentage of seafarers in Maersk, women were only 2.3%, which has now become 7.4%, and it's only increasing. And yet that's something that we celebrate back at work. But today I get this opportunity to celebrate this with all of you all. I see so many women in the maritime sector. I'm really, really happy and proud that we've been able to achieve this, and this will keep going on. But like I said, I'm not going to put a lot of time into what we achieved. I'm going to put more time into how did we achieve this. So if I focus on why did we even go there? Why, right? Why do you want to have women, and are they even interested, right? And this is one simple matrix that I'll give you. When we put out an ad that we are hiring cadets, this is the response we get. 250% increase in the application by women in 2025 from 2024, and 87% increase in applications by women for nautical science, which clearly says that there are people out there, there are women out there who want to pick up seafaring as a profession. So if they want to, who can stop them anyway? But we are here to aid them. So what we did, we have a dedicated campus, the Maersk Center of Excellence in Chennai, where we have partnered with EMIT, and there we offer our BSc and BE courses. And now, while we are here celebrating and having this moment, back in Chennai, the first batch of Maersk Center of Excellence is passing out. More than 60 cadets passing out, joining our fleet soon, and more than 50% are women. And for me, that's a historic moment. My colleagues are celebrating there, I'm celebrating with you all here. But this is the dedication that we are, and this is just the first batch. We will have batch after batch passing out from the Maersk Center of Excellence, and we're hoping that more and more women will join in the fleet soon. And it's just not the Maersk Center of Excellence, right? There is so much more that goes behind, and I'll just quickly tell you about the other support systems that we have. One, of course, we do offer scholarships, and this is for people who come from economically disadvantaged background, and it is common to men and women. It's not gender stereotyped, but we definitely do scholarship programs for ratings, women ratings. And I'll not take away the thunder. I feel the next session is by T.S. Rahman, and they'll speak more about it. We've been partnering with them time and again, and that's our women rating program. I'll leave it to them to speak about that. But like somebody said in the panel, it doesn't end by just hiring. In fact, it starts from there, because from there on, we have to ensure that our women are safe. And again, somebody might turn around and say as to why is this preferential treatment? They have gone through the entire course, they have gone through the safety procedures, they know exactly what to do. Why do you need to create this safety bubble? To that, my answer is my percentage. If it has risen from, I'm celebrating 2.3 to 7.4, I'll stop this bubble when it reaches 50%. Let it come equal, and I'll probably say that, perfect, now I need not protect anybody, I need not do anything, they'll figure their lives. Till we reach there, we'll continue to support them. And for that, one major initiative that we take is the entire culture that's on board. That means training our senior officers, training our cadets, training our junior officers to ensure that every conversation is respectful and there is no other way to it. Yes, of course, there is whistleblowing, and yes, of course, there is all the support that's available for complaints. Every complaint is investigated. But I think what makes the difference is the culture that our senior management, our vessel management brings on board. And that's where we did. We started our training journey with the seniors and then took it down right till the ratings and ensured that everybody has respectful conversations on board. Move ahead. And like I think Meghna mentioned that, while we are doing all of this for the girls who know that there is seafaring as a profession, what about the others? How do I know that seafaring is a profession that I can choose? What we do is we reach out, we go to what we call as a back to school program. We have reached out to 2,000 plus schools, and I can't even imagine where, like absolute remote places of Maharashtra to other states, where we go out, meet students, and again, students alike, men and women, and tell them about seafaring as a career. Tell them about where do you start, how can you earn, what are the courses that you need to do, how do I get there, and how will I progress. And I think that's where it changes the entire mindset when we reach out to schools. We closely work with DG. We have designed a gender sensitization workshop which was rolled out to all MTIs, and that's also something is part of our culture transformation journey within and outside. And lastly, I think everybody, especially the younger generation, is all hooked on to social media. I think all the mothers sitting here would want their kids to leave their phones, but unfortunately they are there. So what we do is we use social media to bust myths about seafaring, especially for the women. So that's something that, and if you want to know more, please follow the social media pages of MERS, and you will see the kind of content we create just for ensuring that people know what realities of sea is. And one thing that we are very cognizant is that we never paint a rosy picture. We will never tell you that, oh wow, go on this ship, beautiful sunsets, waves. No, there's real work and it's hard work, and you need to use your brains there. That's exactly what we try to communicate through our social media pages. Beyond the sea, and this is something which is very, very personal and very, I was very touched when I visited. Our entire logistics warehouse in Dadri is 100% run by women, 84 women. And you must see, right from managing the forklifts to the security assistants, everything is run by women. And I don't think I've ever experienced any place which I felt extremely safe at. Like that's the vibe that place has, and I think only way you can do it is you have to go and experience this. But that's us MERS going beyond just the sea. Lastly, I would conclude by saying what makes this successful, and I think a lot comes from our leadership, our commitment, the leadership's commitment to create this culture. Please understand that culture always flows from the top, right? And if we are not going to create it, if the leaders are not going to create it, it's not going to come down. So our leadership commitment this. We constantly are partnering with administration and various institutes like TSMN. You will hear from them soon. The other thing that I feel works for us is structured programs. We never do things. So it's a very structured program. You exactly know, it's predictable, right? And it makes work easy for me also, and for people outside to know exactly what to expect from us. So that works for us. And last but not the least, that I mentioned earlier, the focus on culture and safety on board and ashore. That's what takes us forward. Last, I'll just quickly conclude by saying one thing. I feel that if there is a need and there is intent, if there is an intent, the transformation will follow. And we continue to do that. We continue to build better ecosystems for women in maritime, and we continue to inspire. Thank you so much.
Thank you, MERS Fleet Management and Technology India. Moving forward, we shall now have a presentation by Training Ship Rahman on the best practices and initiatives undertaken towards implementation of gender equality in maritime sector. The presentation will highlight the institutional effort towards creating an inclusive and encouraging environment for women in maritime education and training while promoting equal opportunities. May I now request the representative from T.S. Rahman to kindly proceed with the presentation.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am V.A. Kamath, representing T.S. Rahman. Actually, Captain Appankar was supposed to do this session, but he has to travel, so I am taking over from him. Basically, we are the one, we have seen now we have got engineers, master mariners here in the panelists, and a lot of women outside. But what was lacking was rating. There were no women. Merck's, with the Merck's as the sponsors, we started first program in rating in July 2000. There we had, our is a 116 years old training institute. Next program. Next. Next slide, please. And junior colleges in 6 states, and generally we selected was a tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Basically, these are tier 2 and 3 cities where we found that your women folk work hard. They contribute to a lot of the hardship they are facing, and that is where they fail. And also, they are more interested in taking advantage. We first, before we started this program, we started given complete campus gender sensitization because this was needed to change the culture inside the TS Rahman, and that we did. We took about 6 months to gather. The first batch started in July 2023, but as I said, that we may be expecting that women were given better treatment than male. No, our policy was there, treat them equal, and we did it the same way what we are presenting here, common entrance test. After that, physical endurance test, which I don't think every institute is doing, but we do it for the male. And the same was applied to female, like 300-meter running, then 20 sit-ups, and then this type of job on the board. And after passing that, they were given the medicals, and then and when they selected, they were sponsored. What we did was we did not take any women as our student unless he is sponsored, because we didn't want to create jobless female ratings. That is why after them they were selected, they were introduced. Then the practice we had girls with our district. Of course, they were given special treatment by instructors to do their jobs, basically lathe machine and all this thing. But we did not do this here in our institute. They had to do all practical by themselves. No special treatment, this one. Basically, this is what they're building their confidence that they are equal to the men and they don't have to get any extra concession on board. And then discipline. I think most of the people know that TS1 discipline is quite strict because this is where our selling point. And most of the shipping industries also know they like that. The way our campus we are maintaining and discipline is maintained. Same discipline maintenance is done for female, and results are good. Next slide. Now, the girl cadets, they were given sort of a female mentor. We have a couple of female faculties. They were supposed to, once in a week, they will meet them and they will sort out their problems if they are personal as well as whatever their practical training and theoretical training, they will be sorted out by the mentor. This is not only up to the institute. Once they pass, they go on board. There will also WhatsApp chats. If any difficulty is there, they can talk to mentor and find out what is to be done and what way they need and what they can be done. So this was our problem solving for the female candidates. Now to encourage more female candidates, we need to find out how their problems are solved. Whenever our team was visiting the schools and junior colleges, there was safety, how the girls were safety on board, and secondly, financial problems. Financial was the DG Shipping MTT, Maritime Training Trust, gives 1 lakh per girls cadet. Then we went to shipping companies. Merckx helped us a lot, and there are other companies also who have helped us. That will be listed out. So, and that is we are trying to soften the blow of fees to almost nil. Those who are economically weak background girls were there, they had almost paid fees to nothing. But that encouraged also the families which came from the poor background to a life, make better life. Now, so far in our 6 batches, from July 23 to July 26, now we are coming to 6 batches, we have put 130 ratings, schedule rating and GP rating together. We have got a catering this one, and they all are placed. The one which is batch is running, which will complete this month, there also has been a job has been earned. Now, that is a number of schools and all this thing we went. Now, just the next slide, please. Our states, the number of states where our ratings are coming. This has helped us because when we know we used to go with our team and introduce girls what is the shipping in their own language only, the way what is their fears are there, how they can be taken care of. All these things can be explained to the girls, and this way we are now increasing the girls which are coming from these states. So far 130 we have done. Next. Now our placement, as I said, we are 130, all are placed, and the companies which have given us a big hand in this is Merckx, Synergy, BW Shipping, ASP Shipping, Anglo Eastern, JSW and Adani. These are the one helped us a lot, and still now our next batch also will be, which is starting from 1st July, we will be getting the assured help and placement for the girls which they will be selecting. Thank you. Next one. This is now what does say scholarship. Merckx says is the scholarship. They are based on their economical background. So all were given, and these our fees are about say another 20 to 50,000 more than what is the maximum say 255,000. Then so they are having all 6 months within almost say 25,000 rupees from their own pocket. Rest all been sponsorship and DG Shipping MTT money. Next. This is the total scholarship we gained. This is not counting DG Shipping. This is from the industry which received for the students, and that is 1 crore plus has been collected in 3 years and given to students. This way, the students has been given a benefit. Also, they know that we come to this our college, they are assured of the placement as well as the whole training is almost made free. This is our way to improve, and this is what we have done. This one. So this is from our side, and one more thing. This today's panel we had master, mariner, second officer, and 1 fourth engineer. But next time I request one of the representatives from the rating also could join here in the panelists, and she can share her experience on board and also maybe some suggestion to the industry how to improve their rating share in the female gender. This. Thank you very much. Nothing more from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. To conclude this session, I would request our Honorable Chief Guest to kindly join us on stage along with Shri Sudhir Kohakade, sir, for the felicitations of the speaker of today's session, I will request Mr. Bhushan Malkani to kindly join us on stage. I also request from T.S. Rahman, Captain Kamath, to kindly join us on stage. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are moving forward to the most exciting part of today's session, that is the cultural program, which is a vibrant and organized by the women in the maritime sector. The special segment celebrates the talent, spirit, confidence, and the creativity of a woman who continue to make remarkable contributions to the maritime community. To make this segment forward, may I now request Ms. Bharti Bhandarkar to kindly take over and proceed further. I hope all are excited for the cultural event.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, respected dignitaries, maritime professionals, faculty members, cadets, and dear participants. It gives us immense pleasure to welcome you all this evening as we gather to celebrate the International Day for Women in Maritime 2026. A day dedicated to recognition, the invaluable contribution, achievements, resilience, and leadership of women in the maritime industry. The maritime sector has been long known for its challenges, demanding environment, and unwavering discipline. Yet, across the ocean and shores, women continue to break the barriers, redefine possibilities, and inspire future generations through their courage, commitment, professionalism. Today, we honor not only their achievement, but also their journey filled with perseverance, sacrifice, determination, and excellence. Let us now begin this inspiring celebration with our first performance, Sagar Mein Samman, the Pride of Professionalism, presented by Samudra Institute of Maritime. This performance narrates the inspiring journey of a woman cadet, learning to navigate these professional challenges and responsibility of life on board a ship. We welcome Payal Patil, Ketal Patel, Vaishnavi Thapa, Noreen Kaur, Maithili Kohli, and Anushka Singh. Over to Sagar Mein Samman.
Scene 1. On the ship. Ship sounds. Crew member cleaning lazily. Cadet Rani enters with luggage. Excited.
My first ship, my first sailing. This is the beginning of my maritime career.
Relax, sister. After 2 weeks, you will be crying during your shipping duty. Cadet Rani.
Yes, sir. Ma'am?
First shock of sea life.
I didn't expect the chief to be
Tall, funny, sleep deprived.
No, ma'am. I mean,
A woman.
yes, ma'am.
Cadet. The sea doesn't care whether you're a man or a woman. It only respects skill, discipline, and hard work.
And trust me, please make my ass scare storms away.
We're docking Spain today. Since it's your first sail, you may go for shore leave after the cargo work starts.